Jeremiah chapter 17 says, starting at verse 7, "Blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord, and whose hope is the Lord. For he shall be like a tree planted by the waters, which spread out its root by the river, and will not fear when heat comes. But its leaf," look behind me, "will be green, and will not be anxious in the year of drought, nor will cease from yielding fruit." Welcome to yet another Bible session. I'm so excited to come before you today. Hope you guys are doing well. We're going to be talking about a popular phraseology in the Bible, especially in the book of Revelation chapter 20. And this is concerning the 1,000 millennial reign with Christ. Now, according to conventional thinking, as mentioned in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 and also in 1 Corinthians 15, starting at verse 50, it is said that Christ will come back for his saints in the last days. And I'm sure you can agree with me that we are indeed living in the last days. There's so many things that we can see are happening around the world, which, you know, when you turn on the news, it's like, okay, maybe I'll just turn the TV off and put my head in the sand. But nonetheless, we can agree that there's some things that are happening. And what, again, according to conventional thinking, it is believed that Jesus Christ will come back for his saints, take them away from all this chaos, and while hell is breaking loose, we'll be up in heaven partying and meeting our loved ones that had gone to heaven before us. We getting reacquainted with our loved ones. But then after a while, when all hell has subsided on the earth, that we will come back and we will rule and reign with Christ for 1,000 years. And it is also understood that at that same time, Satan will be locked up in prison for 1,000 years. But then, all of a sudden, when the 1,000 years has expired, he's going to be released to deceive the nations. There's a lot of things to unpack in this particular series. This is not going to get unpacked all in one video, because like I said, there are a lot of nuances to understanding this particular passage. This is more so of a riddle than anything else. This is a riddle that was manifested through a vision which was shown to John on the Isle of Patmos. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into it. Again, as I mentioned before, a lot of conventional thinking would suggest that Jesus Christ is actually coming back literally and coming to take his saints to heaven. But is this really about a time or an event to come in the near future that has yet to appear? Or is this a riddle that the Lord wants us to crack open so that we know how to navigate in these last days? Might I suggest to you the latter suggestion, which I believe that this is a riddle that the Lord wanted us to unpack and realize what is actually around us already so that we can navigate properly through these end times. What we're going to do actually, we're going to go to the book of Revelation chapter 20. And for this video, what we will do is we'll examine Revelation chapter 20, verses 1 through 3. And we want to extrapolate some terminology for you so that in your own private time, hopefully, if you're provoked enough to open the Bible for yourself, you will start doing certain word search studies pertaining to the terminology that I'm going to present before you. Okay, but let's first read the book of Revelation chapter 20, verse 1 through 3. Revelation chapter 20, verses 1 through 3 says the following. "Then I saw an angel coming down from heaven, having the key to the bottomless pit, and a great chain in his hand. He laid hold of the dragon, that serpent of old, who is the devil and Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years. And he cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal on him, so that he could not deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years were finished. But after these things, he must be released for a little while." So in order to understand this first section of Revelation chapter 20, we have to first discover who this angel is, what is this key? And what is this thing about this bottomless pit? Also, in what way does this particular angel deceive? And also, what is the overall message of this first section that we just read? What exactly is the angel saying to John, and what exactly is God saying to us in the year of 2021? And in understanding this section, along with the whole chapter, along with the whole Bible, we need to have an upgraded understanding, a modern day understanding of what God is actually saying to his people. So let's do the first thing. Let's discover who this angel is. And let's go to Revelation chapter 1. In Revelation chapter 1, starting at verse 12, you will see that John has this vision. And in verse 12, it says, "Then I turned to see the voice that spoke with me. And having turned, I saw 7 golden lampstands. And in the midst of the 7 lampstands, one like the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the feet, and girded about the chest with a golden band. His head and hair were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were like flame of fire. His feet were like fine brass, as if it was refined in a furnace, and his voice was the sound of many waters. He had in his right hand 7 stars. Out of his mouth went a sharp, 2-edged sword, and his countenance was like the sun shining in his strength. And when I saw him, I fell at his feet as dead. But he laid his right hand on me, saying to me, 'Do not be afraid. I am the first and the last. I am he who lives and was dead, and behold, I am alive forevermore. Amen.' And I have, and listen to the following line, and I have the keys of Hades and death. I have the keys of Hades and death." Now, talks about the angel in Revelation 20 having a key, but it's still synonymous, as was mentioned here in this chapter. I have the keys of Hades and death. Okay, remember, this angel had the key to the bottomless pit. Then it says after that, "Write the things which you have seen, and the things which are, and the things which will take place after this." So when we talk about having the key or having the keys, if you look at Revelation chapter 1, you will see the writing is in red. And usually when the writing is in red, you'll see that it's a lot of people say, well, that's Jesus speaking. In the New Testament as a whole, anytime you saw the writing in red, that was Jesus speaking. But here in Revelation, you have to understand that it's not necessarily just Jesus speaking, it's the Son of Man speaking. Now, that may have confused some Christians, because some Christians will say, well, Daryl, but Jesus is the Son of Man. But you have to understand this terminology, Son of Man, was used way before Jesus came on the scene. And so it has to be suggested that Jesus himself represented a type of people, a type of behavior, and it wasn't just about what we perceived Jesus to look like. So we have to understand, and we have to figure out what this Son of Man, or the type of people that the Son of Man represents, to understand Revelation chapter 20. So the angel that came down, that's actually Jesus, or that's actually Christ. Okay, and he has the keys to the bottomless pit. All right, and if you remember, if we go back to Revelation chapter 20, we understand that this angel was not Satan, but this angel laid hold of Satan. Okay, so this is Christ. Okay, the anointed one, the illuminated one. He came and laid a hold of Satan. But exactly what does that mean? Because right now, up until now, it sounds like some sort of Marvel Comics storybook folklore. And you can imagine Jesus coming down from heaven and just with a chain in his hand, right? And he just laid a hold of Satan and threw him into the bottomless pit. But we're going to crack open this riddle and see exactly what this means. Thank you so much for watching this first part of this video series called The 1,000-Year Millennial Reign with Christ. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button and share if you would like, and I will look forward to seeing you on the next video.